Alright boys, so I finally created a Titan build, and I gotta say, I'm absolutely loving this. I think Bungie did a fantastic job with all the Void 3.0 changes. But anyway, using this Titan build, I'm absolutely loving the shield toss melee. So with this build, I want to focus on spamming that. We're using energy Vampirism, Heart of Inmost Light, and Monte Carlo. We also got a couple of other mods to play into that melee spam, so let's jump right into the build. So for this build, your super of choice really varies depending on which activity you're playing. For low tier content, I recommend using the Sentinel shield, and for high tier content, I recommend using the Ward of Dawn. Now you really want to use the shield toss melee for this build, because upon landing hits with the shield toss, you generate overshield. And with the aspect offensive bulwark, when you have an overshield, your grenade comes back faster and your melee does more damage. So these two really synergize well together because it's going to play into the ability spam and the melee damage of this build. Which also brings me to my grenade. So I'm using suppressor grenades because I'm using energy vampirism, which states that upon suppressing an enemy, I gain ability energy from my least charged ability, which most of the time is going to be my grenade. So I'm getting a lot of grenade energy for having an overshield, from energy vampirism, and elemental wells. Now as for our aspect combo, we're using bastion and we're using offensive bulwark. Bastion will grant me an overshield whenever I pop my barricade, which again plays into the fact that I want to have my overshield up as much as possible. And offensive bulwark makes it so that way my grenade comes back faster and my melee does more damage whenever I do have an overshield. So these two really synergize well together along with the shield toss melee. Now moving on to my fragments, I'm using Echo of Persistence so my overshields last longer. We're also using Echo of Leeching so melee final blows will start my health regen for me and nearby allies. And for my last fragment, you actually have a choice here. You can either use Echo of Provision, which is what I'm using, damaging targets with grenades grant melee energy, or you could also use Echo of Exchange, melee final blows grant grenade energy. You can use either or, but I'm using Echo of Provisions just to play into that melee spam. So the only important weapon for this build is Monte Carlo. Now the two traits that come on it is first, Markov Chain. This weapon grants increased damage from melee kills and kills with this weapon. Melee kills grant ammo for this weapon. Now when you get a shield toss melee kill, it's going to proc Markov Chain times 5. It's almost like Swashbuckler. Now I don't know what the damage buff is for Markov Chain times 5, but I know that it is a substantial increase to your damage. Now the other trait that comes on it is Monte Carlo Method. Dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. Now I'm also using Heavy Handed with this build, which grants me half of my melee energy back upon using it while charged with light. Now, a lot of people might say that that's overkill, but honestly, I'm fine with it because one, I just love Monte Carlo, it's my most used exotic weapon, and two, I love the shield toss melee. So if I can spam that as much as I want, then that's fine with me because I'm getting overshields. Because I have overshields, my grenade's coming back faster. My Monte Carlo is going to do more damage and refill the magazine. So why not just use the Monte Carlo and get my melee back as much as I can? And the shield toss melee can actually do a pretty decent amount of damage. So the fact that I'm spamming it a lot, it may seem like overkill, but when you're using it, it's just a lot of fun. And that's honestly the point here, is to spam the shield toss and have a lot of fun with it. I'm using 100 Resilience and 100 Discipline, and I'm also pairing this all with Heart of Inmost Light. This exotic is the king of ability spam exotics for the Titan. Now what it does is upon using an ability, grenade, melee, or barricade, it empowers the other two abilities. Empowered abilities means they have a faster regen, melee and grenades do more damage, and barricades have more hit points. So if I use my barricade, my grenade and my melee become empowered times 1, and then if I use my grenade, then my melee is empowered times 2. And let's say that I get my melee or my barricade back before then, I use it again, now my grenade and my melee are empowered times 2, and as well as my barricade, I think. But the whole point of this exotic is to spam all your abilities and make them do more damage or take more damage. Alright, now moving on to the mods, and there is a lot of mods working here, so get ready. So we're using Ashes to Assets, Melee Wellmaker, Grenade Kickstart, Elemental Charge, Heavy Handed, Seeking Wells, Energy Vampirism, Suppression Mastery, and Reaping Wellmaker. Upon using my barricade and then getting a weapon final blow, or by getting a melee final blow, it'll spawn a void elemental well, which will allow me to become charged light and take advantage of heavy handed, so I get half my melee energy back when using my melee ability. Grenade Kickstart will give me some of my grenade energy in return upon using my grenade ability, and since I'm using suppression grenades, Energy Vampirism will give me ability energy from my least charged ability, which most of the time, if done correctly, should be either my grenade or my barricade. Suppression Mastery will make the effects of my suppression grenade last longer, which is very good for crowd control because enemies won't be firing at you like wizards or ogres. And just to top it all off, Ashes to Assets will give me bonus super energy for grenade final blows. I gotta say that I'm very proud of this build because I feel like everything just ties so well together. Upon having an overshield, my grenade comes back faster, and since I'm using energy vampirism and suppression grenades, when I suppress an enemy, I get ability energy for my least charged ability. I'm using Heart of Inmost Sight, so when using my abilities come back faster. My suppression effects last longer. I'm using heavy-handed with Monte Carlo, so my melee attack comes back faster. I feel like everything is just working so well together, so I don't know, I'm just really happy I created this. So that is the full build. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what your favorite part of the new Titan Void 3.0 subclass is. Personally, I'm loving the fact I can generate overshields just so easily with it, and the barricade is actually useful now. I mean, it was still pretty good because it's just blocking damage, but now you can keep regenerating an overshield, and when you pop it, you get a full overshield. So it's very useful, and I use it in a lot of panic situations because if enemies run through it, then they become kind of like blinded a little bit, and I get an overshield. So it's really good against those type of enemies that rush you. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more content just like this video right here, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Deuces.